Can you travel to 5 countries in one day on one charge in an electric vehicle? The answer is yes, you absolutely can. This is Jim, by the way, and he's southern, and he thinks it's grim up north. Yari, mate. And if you don't know me by now, I'm Tom Shorrock, and you join us for part 2, where we begin the day in Duisburg. Is there anything that I should be worried about?
Charges.
Einschwart. Just look at the views of this.
Centric millionaire.
So welcome back to part 2 of the European tour in the Hyundai IONIQ 6 along with Jim. Hopefully you've joined us here from part 1 on Jim's channel, which was released about an hour before this, and if you haven't, make sure you head over there to watch that first. There'll be a link in the description. Bit more in depth, and you can see how we went to 5 countries in one day on one charge, all the way from the UK to where we are now in Duisburg, Germany. But where are we going today, mate?
Right, so we're going to start things off. We're going to go to Dusseldorf, which is about 40 minutes up the road. We're then going to go on basically to Lille this evening, and we're going to go via Liège, Charleroi, Mons, and then we're going to end up in Lille this evening and yeah, take you along the journey with us.
More importantly, in an electric car travelling this long distance to prove to you guys and all you diehards are like EVs are not the way forward when they can really be used as a touring car. So with that said, on to the journey. It looks fantastic. We're in Dusseldorf and we're at the top of this tower. I don't actually know what it's called.
It's called the Rhine Tower.
The views here are absolutely staggering. You can actually see the planes going into land at the airport, and I'll overlay a shot of that now. Just looking back at where we've come from, it's quite a distance away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know, if you're coming to Dusseldorf ever, you must do this. It's dead cheap to come up here. I mean, it's like 12 euros for both of us to come up here. The lift was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it made you feel a bit sick and queasy.
Was it 140-something floors?
Something. I think it was in feet, or was that meters?
Oh, was
meters,
it?
Yeah. 104, I think it was 150 meters by the time we got to the top.
Yeah.
Which is significant height. Well, in feet, the times it by 3, what's that, 450 foot?
Yeah.
You only have to look down there to get a bit jelly leggy.
If you are coming here, by the way, we got here for opening, which was like 10 o'clock today. Just come at that time, because there were 4 of us up here for probably the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And now it's absolutely swarming with people. At the weekends it gets especially busy. So, but brilliant thing to do, and you've got to do it if you come to Dusseldorf.
And we had a pretzel to top it off, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We didn't want to be stereotypical because, you know, stereotypes are obviously nonsense. So we had a pretzel in Germany.
I did ask for a bacon butter, but I didn't get that well, did it?
At least you didn't ask for it in like a roll or a
yeah.
muffin. Or...
Well, we've had that chat already. We know you're wrong and I'm right. But
No.
Where are we off to next?
I think we're going to a charger next. We're going to another IONIQ charger, which I think, from off the top of my head, is just outside Liège. And then we'll be going on to past Charleroi, and then finally on to Lille.
Yeah, and then it doesn't matter how many times we charge now on the way home, because we did the mission of the video yesterday. Now it's just more about enjoying the journey home, seeing a few places, and then tonight we may have a couple of beers, and then what do you reckon? Sign off tomorrow and have a steady journey back.
By the way, going back to that charging thing, yesterday we were obviously on a full charge when we left Folkestone. We had one charge, which was at Eindhoven on the IONIQ charger. When we first plugged the car in, it just went like that, didn't it?
300 amps it was putting into the car, which was it 260 kilowatts it was charging at?
230, I think.
Yeah, which 300 amp.
It was going up 1% about every 3 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's nuts. So we got the car back up to 100% in about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, or 96%, because what's the point in doing those last few when it's really slow? Got in the car this morning and we had like 71% left of it.
Yeah, to be fair, it's done extremely well on battery, the car. And to me, as somebody that's not really had much experience of EVs, I've drove the odd mates here and there, but to actually live with one for a couple of days and come this far, if you can get chargers like that, it's an absolute no-brainer to buy one. One, it's eco-friendly and you'll be pleasing Greta Thunberg. But you go to a petrol station and it can take you 10, 15 minutes to fill a car up, and with a charge, what was it yesterday, was it 20 odd, 30 minutes or something?
Yeah.
By the time you'd had a coffee and we found that really fancy McDonald's, the time flies, and it's not been inconvenient once driving an EV into this many countries, I don't think.
I think by the time we get back to England, we would have done 600 and something miles, 650 miles probably, and we will have charged twice for less than an hour in total. And we've been doing something while it's been charging. It's not like we've been standing and hanging around waiting for it to charge. So I had the same thing a while ago. I did a video where I took a Tesla from Guildford, just outside London, up to Edinburgh. And then we came back the other side of the country via Lake District and everything. That was 1,100 miles, that trip. And in total, the amount of time that we stopped just to charge, so not going for a wee, not going to get something to eat or a drink or visiting somewhere, the amount of time we stopped for a charge was 25 minutes. That's what it added to that 1,100 mile journey. And we didn't charge overnight once.
That to me just it sells itself doing that. And also we'll put a link into that video for people to watch.
Just so you know, by the way, I'm not an EV fanatic at all. I think cars are good or bad.
Yes.
I don't care. No, I'm not. I'm totally not. If a car's crap and it runs on electric, I'll tell you it's a crap car.
Yeah.
If it's a brilliant and it's a V8, I'll love it just as much.
Yeah.
I believe, for me, it's all about the car, not about the fuel.
Yeah.
So yeah, just want to put that out there because I know there's loads of EV fanatics and I'm not one of them.
Just to add on that, I'm not an EV fanatic. Obviously, you'll know by the stuff I do on this channel with all petrol cars and old-fashioned cars, but that IONIQ 6, I have to say, it's the dog's paws. And it's, if you're Scottish, the dog's paws, as they say. It is a fantastic car, and I've enjoyed using it that much, and even being a passenger in it, I think I could live with one.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven most of the EVs on sale in the UK at the minute, and that's in my top 3.
Yeah, which is a strong bold
It
statement.
might be in my top 2.
Yeah. Well,
In fact, it is in my top 2.
We just want another car off Hyundai, don't we? Is that why we're saying that?
No, because I've had all of them.
Yeah, well, he has.
Tom hasn't. So, Robin, if you're watching this, Robin from Hyundai, Hyundai. Robin, give him some cars.
And just to back up Jim's comment, I've had experience with an ID4 off camera and an EQC 400 off camera, and out of all of them, I would buy the Hyundai. I think value for money. I mean, what's the list price on that? 56 grand we was looking at, which is a lot of money, but quality, build quality, feel, smoothness and speed, well, you'll see that later in this video because it is insanely quick.
We did have a little trip to the Autobahn.
Yeah. Only by accident though.
Yeah, and we weren't really sure if it was so not all the Autobahns unrestricted.
Yeah.
We weren't 100% sure, so.
But I'll just add, if any tickets do come through to Hyundai press office, it was him driving.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. The other thing we have to mention again is that Lease Logos have supported this whole
massively,
trip.
huge.
Lease Logos is the place to go if you're looking to lease a car. With an EV,
lease one of them as well.
Yeah, with an EV, I do suggest you lease rather than buy, simply because the rate of development going on, you can easily find that your car's depreciating much more than you could have ever anticipated with the rate of change going on as it is. Go and check out Lease Logos. There is a link in the video description and pinned as a top comment.
Anyway, on to the next destination.
Let's go.
In style. on to the next destination with the only man that definitely isn't a guru. What's your name?
Steve?
Steve. Jim.
Bill.
Jim. Owner of Starling Bank.
Yeah.
You're wedged, aren't you, mate, really?
I am, yeah. I'm an eccentric millionaire.
Sorry, I've got to expose you here, Jim. This guy, right, has just put the ticket from going up that into that machine and got it wrong, and then he's put a car park ticket in from a different car park.
That was from Bruges.
And we're still yet to find out how much this car park has actually cost when we've parked the Hyundai over there.
Cool.
Yeah, it bounced out and said coin. Have you used one of these before?
You failed.
I forgot about that. Take two. After that minor mishap, we hit the road and headed to our next destination, whilst leaving the Rhine Tower piercing the skyline in our distance. Germany really is a beautiful place, and I looked forward to returning in the future. And considering myself and Jim had only really known each other a couple of days at this point, we were getting on like a house on fire. So we've just stopped for our first charge on the way back to Lille. Check out how fast this is charging. It's still climbing, and we've got 300 amps of power at the moment going into the car. 308 amps in fact.
230 kilowatts.
Yeah, and at 750 volts, so that's like 800 volt you was on about.
Yeah.
And what we're saying, we
231 kilowatt. So you've seen that, so that's gone at
40%, 41, well it's gone up 1% now, and we've been rolling
keep
this.
watching that, it'll go up another one.
Camera shot's been going 26 seconds. It's quite hard to see with the sunlight, so I do apologise for that, but yeah, I need Jim to get in as a shadow. Might be best stood there, mate.
It's a shame I'm so thin and athletic.
42%, so you can see how quick that is going. And this is where you actually find out that how easy it is to have an EV, because the speed that charges at, we'll be here now for what, 20-25 minutes in this car park.
That sponsor, by the way, for this is CleanEnergy
There we go.
EV. So it's an RFID card that essentially acts like a fuel card to use across different chargers.
And you pay one bill, is it, at the end of the month or something?
Yeah,
like
so
that?
if you're running a company fleet or something and you want your drivers to not have to have 50 different apps, 50 different accounts, speak to CleanEnergy EV and they'll sort you out.
Have we got a discount code or not yet?
No, we haven't.
Oh, that's a shame. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you say you've seen this video, it'll help us do another video, but you never know, you might get a discount code out of it. We don't know. Don't hold us to that though. Anyway, on with the branding. This is so if anyone drives past in the next coming months, years, decades, this doesn't disintegrate, we'll be YouTube famous, Jimbo. What do you reckon?
Finally, fame at last.
Look at that. With the car fully charged and the IONIQ chargers branded, myself and Jim made our way to Lille, which will be our final stop for the night before heading home to the UK.
Contemplating all my time. My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind. Wonder if there's peace I could find. Instead of always being
Completed it, mate.
What have you done?
Completed it, mate. IONIQ 6, completed it.
So, Jim, I've got to ask you, mate.
Yeah.
We know clickbait's a thing, but what is all this disaster stuff about in your video, or the video even?
I don't believe in clickbait at all, so I'd never do it. To get back to your original question, I don't believe in clickbait, so I would never do it. But the disaster really is everything's gone really smoothly, and it's been really easy to live with this EV on this trip, and I haven't really got anything to moan about, so complete disaster.
So what you're saying is, you're used to finding something to moan about, there's nothing to moan about, therefore it is a disaster.
Utterly.
That is some fine journalism right there.
And it's definitely not clickbait. All right? That's my new channel, actually, my spin-off channel, definitely not clickbait.
It's not a disaster so far. We have got a long way to go, but I think it's gone swimmingly. I just wish we could talk about the inappropriate aisle that we found in the truck stop.
God.
You'll have to use your imaginations there, but if it was, the weird thing was, it was in the middle of nowhere as well. It couldn't have been any further from civilization, and there was a truck wash, a truck stop. It had buckets of tobacco for sale.
Buckets of tobacco that were like that. You've never seen anything like it. There was all the normal sort of food and drinks and whatnot. Then it had like steel toe cap boots, high vises, those kind of bits. All stuff truckers are going to need. Yeah. And then a selection of what I'll only call accoutrement.
I'd like to add as well, there was also things that you could put in your own bucket in there, wasn't there? You know, the bucket and spade you take to the beach, that's what I'm on about.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that with an onion.
Yeah, it was it was an eye-opener, wasn't it?
I don't think you could do that with it.
It'd form suit, though. It'd make your eyes water, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. Yeah, but there was, let's say, it catered for every taste, even like Tom's.
Aren't you the one that had a selfie with it, with your thumbs up?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I'll actually overlink that picture right now, but I'm going to blur it for branding purposes.
I think you should.
Yeah, we've actually realised this maxes out at 192 kilometres and doesn't go any faster.
Which is 120 mile an hour?
Which, in this car, I can't really do it at the moment on this bit of autobahn because the roads are rather busy, but there is zero wind noise apart from the wing mirrors, which myself and Jim are a bit in question to why they're actually there.
The wing mirrors, by the way, being cameras rather than bits of glass.
If this was a company car, I think they would be referred to as the P45s. I think if you smashed one of those off, you'd be met.
A few, Nicker.
Yeah, you'd be met with your P45.
They are, I think they're a 995 quid option. So you've still got the option to have standard mirrors if you want. I probably would. The picture quality is astounding.
Yeah.
It's very crisp, very high res, and you get a wider field of view than you would with a normal mirror. So it is really good. And obviously you've got the blind spot monitoring in the dash whenever you put the indicator on, which you get on all Hyundai Group cars. But for me, I just like a mirror.
For 900 quid, you're not really going to see that much of a difference in your leasing prices.
Yeah, which might be a reason to have them.
And what would that work out? I bet, what, £10 a month difference probably, if that, across 2-3 years?
So with options on a lease, generally, you take the cost of the option and divide it by the number of months you're paying for it, because the options are not generally factored into the price of the car at the end when they're working out depreciation.
Yeah.
So if it's a grand divided by 36 on a 3-year lease.
Quick maths.
I've got to take my shoes and socks off for that, mate.
As we headed into Lille, feeling rather tired after our long drive, we thought it would be best to head out and grab some food before the night drew in. The scenery was absolutely stunning, but we did face a slight problem. It was 31 degrees and the room didn't have any air conditioning. So to try and get ourselves some sleep, Jim decided to compose a tune on his iPad, which resulted in the next door neighbour banging on the wall after he realised it was 1:30 a.m. We rose the next morning to a beautiful sunlight and headed out to grab ourselves a traditional French breakfast, coffee, croissant, which we devoured sat next to the fountains. I actually have never been to France, but if there's one thing that I'm certain on, I'll be coming back, because it's pretty and there is so much more to see. Soon we had to leave Lille to make our way back to Calais to catch the tunnel, but before that we had one little task to complete, and that task was to stop for some French supplies. Bière. So obviously when in Rome, you need to stop at a French supermarket to take some merchandise home. We've bought plenty of beers, which is actually surprisingly very, very cheap over here.
Slight right onto Boulevard de la Brocade.
Getting interrupted by the navigation.
Slight right onto Boulevard de la Brocade.
So yeah, on the way to the tube, and It's not the tube, is it? It's the tunnel.
The tube.
Le Shuttle. On the way to the shuttle, and then we're on the home straight, which is insane because the past 3 days have been quite mad. We were saying we was in Brussels or Bruges on, was it Tuesday?
Tuesday, stay on Thursday.
And it feels like it was like 4 weeks ago. We've literally lived in this IONIQ 6 and it's been a great car to do it in. We've got another Clover Junction coming up here. And by a Clover Junction, I mean one of these. It literally looks like a 4-leaf clover. We found this out earlier on the trip because Jim missed an exit twice, taking us on a 13-mile detour and then had the cheek to blame me. We decided to pull in for one last charge before heading to the tunnel, which gave us time to assess the roadkill, but mainly so Jim had enough battery to get himself back to sunny sandbanks in Bournemouth. See, I told you he was a millionaire.
I'm an eccentric millionaire.
We're back in the UK, and all I can say is, mate, what a good few days it's been.
It's been emotional.
It's been very emotional, and I tell you what, I think out of all this, we've made a friend. I don't know about you, but
What? You made a friend?
yeah,
Oh.
you not made one?
No.
That's a bit disheartening. Well, I have anyway.
I do now consider you someone that I once knew, though.
Really?
Yeah, which is quite high up the pecking order for me.
On the blacklist of emails. That sort of thing. But yeah, no, honestly, it's been a fantastic trip. Obviously, I've got to thank Jim for getting me involved in this. Make sure you head over to his stuff to check him out. Your video is going to be better than mine, isn't it? Since you've harvested all the footage.
Yeah, but then I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, it's been brilliant. Tom's done some amazing drone footage, which is going to look extremely good in the video. And it's just been a great laugh, hasn't it? It really has.
Yeah, I think we could, hopefully we can bring a bit more together. I know like distance is a bit of a challenge, but they do say distance makes the heart grow fonder, Jim.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know about it growing fonder of this guy, but we'll sort something. I've got a really long drive back up to Manchester now. It's going to should take 5 hours, but it never does because the M1 and the A1M and the M6 is the biggest car park in the UK, and you've got quite a bit of a way.
Was it
back.
300 for you, 200 for me?
Yeah, 298 miles for me one way, and what are you?
200.
Yeah, so it's similar, but then obviously when we're spread apart, I think it's a similar distance again when you're back home.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think it's been brilliant. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all very soon. And if you fell on this video, I'll say it again, if you fell on this video and you've not seen the first part, go over to this guy's channel. That's better, isn't it?
I was going there so you had a place to put the box.
Yeah, there.
With the,
on top of his head.